Okay, hi you guys, it is Sunday and I got dressed and I am actually in the study room. I'm doing my presentation, Church Health and Revitalization. I had to do a brochure, a presentation, and a video for that, so that's what I'm currently doing. A relationship with our Hispanic community, so we will be teaching English classes, 2 classes bi-weekly. Hello, good morning everyone. Welcome back to my channel if you're new. Hi, my name is Alexis Danielle and welcome back to a ministry major vlog. I'm bringing you guys along my finals week. This week we have 3 things to get done. I've slowly taken my other 2 exams for the other 2 classes since I am taking 4 classes this semester. But with that being said, these are the classes that we are studying for. First one is my systematic theology class. We will have to watch some lectures because I was looking at the study guide last night and I was like, that doesn't look very familiar. So we need to watch some lectures to referring to the material I'm not well versed in. And then the second class is my biblical preaching lab. I do have a paper for that class and it's a 5-page paper for that class, so we'll be doing that. And then my next class is my church health class that I have an exam for. My church health class I'm not super nervous about just because it's open book, it's open note. And then my previous 2 exams, I did those. You guys heard me talking about my book review for my Pentecostal doctrine class last vlog. If you guys haven't seen that, go ahead and check it out. I will leave a card up here. But I did that and that was my final for that class. And then I just turned in a big project for my church health class. I had to do a PowerPoint, a brochure, and a video. I had a case study that I had to plan out how to revitalize the church. So I did that, turned that in on Sunday. So I know that's not technically my exam, but that's a bigger percentage of my grade more than my actual exam. So with that being said, we have a busy week ahead of us. I'm starting off my morning on this beautiful Tuesday at 8:30 and we are going to start off I think with a lecture and then we're going to start on my paper. The goal for my paper is to get through maybe 2 to 3 pages and then tomorrow I'll do page 4 and 5 and I'll be done with it. I just watched back my first sermon. My goodness, I got a 70 on that sermon. The effort and the main gist is there, but it's very underdeveloped and it kind of feels like I pulled it out of thin air and I feel like I lacked preparation. The contrast between the first sermon and the sermon is astronomically different. And when I tell you I put my blood, sweat, and tears into that second sermon compared to the first one, I'm about to go watch the second one. Maybe I'll overlay bits and pieces of my sermon so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Because Alexis, my professor, was very, very nice about giving me a 70. The Bible has something to say about that. Jesus' eternal navigation system to the Father. So acknowledging that when you're in this realm of rerouting is that we must take the first step in acknowledging that our GPS is broken. We are lost. This in verse 5, that Thomas, when speaking to Jesus, did not know where he was heading. And he says here in verse 5, Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way? When I tell you guys, sermon number 2 is night and day. When I tell you I spent hours on this sermon because I picked a very hard passage. But the dedication, the grit, the drive, the desire to do the word justice is evident. Ugh. And just to see like the drastic difference between even my grade from getting a 70 barely passing to getting a 97. Exciting news today. We are going to be kicking off a brand new series called The Empty Pinnacle. We are going to be looking into Ecclesiastes, specifically today Ecclesiastes chapter 1. Now before we get into the nit and gritty of today's sermon, I just want to give you guys a lay of the land, some backstory, some context, so we can get the full picture of what Solomon is trying to tell us in the first chapter. So with that being said, we have Solomon here. If you're unfamiliar, he's the one that wrote the book of Ecclesiastes, and he's basically reflecting on everything that he has achieved in life this far. He has reached achievements and pinnacles, and yet he still feels empty. Now throughout this text, we are going to be seeing the reoccurring phrase, everything under the sun, which is pretty much referencing the fact that it is our earthly perspective, anything that is apart from the Lord. Now, Solomon has revealed that no matter the heights of our earthly achievements, you still end up chasing the wind if it's apart from God. Now, if you can take anything away from if you can take anything away from this sermon, I want you to grasp that every person in this room needs to look for wisdom and meaning in Jesus despite what society deems as wisdom. The next couple of hours, I definitely need to lock in, so I'm giving myself a good break. But this is just like comfy. And then I'm wearing some black sweats, so I sort of look put together. And then brushed out my hair, and then I filled in my eyebrows and put some mascara. I definitely need to get my eyebrows done, but that's here nor there, because I don't have the time to this week, and my silk press is still holding strong and definitely needs to be washed. You know, I had to weigh my option. Would I rather have slightly greasy hair and then put some dry shampoo, or would I want to have to do my hair every morning while I'm in the trenches of finals? And I just decided to keep the silk press going. Need be, if it gets too bad, I'll put it in a ponytail like I have been. But guys, I wanted to show you what I got from Amazon that has made like the last 3 weeks finishing up school life-changing. I wish I would have done this at the beginning of the semester. So don't be like me. If you really think you need these items, I would go for it. I got this super cute keyboard. I was in the trenches of writing my paper for my systematic theology class, and I was like, I need a pick-me-up. Like, I don't need a treat. Like, I need something that's gonna motivate me to, you know, type my life away. And I was like, you know what, I've been really wanting a keyboard, and this would be like the perfect thing to like push me over the edge and like really finish my paper strong. And I got a cute keyboard. I love the little clickety clack. I went ahead and got a textbook stand. I did have like a rinky-dink one that in our move broke, and I never got around to getting another one, but I decided, I'm like, when I was writing my paper, I had multiple textbooks open and then they would close, and it was just, when you're deep in that trenches, a textbook closing could be the difference between me shedding a tear. Okay guys, so I did go to Barnes & Noble and I picked up 2 books. The first book is a Penguin classic. It's the St. Augustine Confessions. You guys know I'm a theology girly, I'm a thought daughter, and I feel like anyone who is in theology needs to read these books. Even though I have some disagreements with some of St. Augustine's stances on certain things, I think it's important to read his books in the entirety instead of reading bits and snippets from whatever textbook you have for school. So I got his book Confessions, and I do plan to get Martin Luther. And like I said, I'm in my classic era, so I'm also reading Dubliners by James Joyce. These are short stories and I love them. I've read quite a few of them, and I just have like writing, pretty much just creating my own curriculum. Like, is Jimmy poor? Like, I've really enjoyed this book. And then I also downloaded Babbel on my Kindle from my Kindle Unlimited. I don't know if it's on Kindle Unlimited now, but I downloaded it previously and I've just gotten around to it. So these are, I haven't gotten into this one, but this one I really fully enjoy. I could probably finish it in one sitting, but I read 1 or 2 short stories every day, and then I move on to babble. I want to build a collection of classics.
How was it? Long.
Hi, good morning everyone. Happy Wednesday. Today's agenda, we are going to work on my paper. Hopefully I'll go ahead and wrap that up today. Second, we need to start studying for my systematic theology final for this week. So super excited to get those two things done. Those are like the big things on the agenda, plus watching some lectures on things that I'm unfamiliar on for my systematic theology class. So, hi guys, it is currently 11:19 and a little update on my improvement plan paper. I'm on page 4. Page 5, my paper needs to be between 5 to 6 pages. Now what I need to do is incorporate a strategic plan to better my preaching. So I need to talk about my goals and how I'm going to implement those goals, how I'm going to achieve those goals. How many Pomodoro sets did I say?
It's only 5 hours.
Okay, well anyways, so my plan is to do quite a few Pomodoro sets and to equal out 5 hours. So if we want to be technical, that's 10 30-minute Pomodoro sets each. That will equal out 5 hours. So that's Hi, good morning. Happy Friday. It is about 10:30-ish. I literally just got back home from taking my Pentecostal doctrine final. I did pretty well, but let me tell you, I was stressed. Let me give you the lay of the land, because I did not vlog yesterday. Like 4:45 rolled around and I got a bing, I got an email, right? I got an email from my professor saying, oh, our final exam is open. What do you mean, sir? It's open. I thought we weren't having a final for my Pentecostal doctrine class. You guys know that I thought our final was our paper, our book review that I did in my last vlog. No, he just had it locked this whole time. It didn't show up on the grade book because I go back to check like every other day. Okay, what's on the grade book? What's upcoming? Just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I, for a fact, knew that there was nothing left. You know why? Because I felt so relieved, because last week or the week before I had like an 89. The goal was to get a 92 in that class to keep my dean's list situation going. And I was like, oh, with this book review it puts me up to a 91. I'm like, okay, great. I mean, it's an A. Ideally, would I want a 93? Sure. But I was like, I'll take it. A win is a win. It's an A. Truth be told, the average grade in that class is like an 83. Okay, so I was like, okay, cool. I'll settle for the 91. And then, again, referencing yesterday, I got the email, oh, we have a final. Sir, we have a final? We have a final? So, and he's like, oh yeah, and it's due tomorrow, which is today. So that's what I just got back home from taking. Granted, it was open book, but it was timed. We have unlimited tries to take it, but it's due tonight at midnight. I took the final because I was like, okay, if I don't like the first grade that I have, then I have all day today to take it off and on. But then that kind of gets in the way of my schedule of studying for my other classes. So that's here nor there. And I also have a meeting with my advisor about something else. And then, so I finally took it. I took it today. That's why I got up early, did my little morning routine. This is why you're seeing me now at like 10:30 instead of my usual time at 7:30, because I did some studying. I relaxed. I let my mind kind of relax before I take the exam. So I took it. I made an 88, which I'm super happy with myself. It actually bumped me up a point. So I'm sitting at a 92 for my Pentecostal doctrine class. Now, what I'm contemplating is, am I going to be content with the 92? Because he's gonna take the highest grade. Granted, you're probably like, Alexis, take the win. Take the win and take the 92. It's still the A and it's higher than what you had previously before you took the exam. Yes, I get that. But I really want to try to get a 93 or more. So I want to make sure I get like a 90, like a 90 on my exam. But I don't know. There's just too many things going on. It's like, this is like the best outcome that I could have wanted, where I can just take it once. But let me know if I'm doing too much, because I feel like I'm doing too much. But then it's like, if I take it again, I have a possibility to move my grade even higher, because at this point, all grades are turned in. All grades are turned in for that class. So let me know if I'm doing the most. But like, I'm securing my spot on the dean's list. I've worked so hard throughout the semester to make sure that I can pretty much coast the rest of like during finals. Hi everyone, happy Friday. I'm officially on vacation and I just wanted to give you guys a little update. I passed all my classes this semester. I made all A's, super excited. I finished the semester with a 3.8. Did really well on my project for my church health, where I had that case. I did really well on my paper, the 300-hour research paper that I had to do. I finished that with a 90. I as well did amazing on my improvement plan. That was like the 3-page paper that I had to do. Finished that with 100. And my systematic theology class, I finished the final exam with a 90. Was it a 90 or 95? So pretty much I finished the semester with the dean's list. And I just want to thank you guys for following along my journey as a ministry major. And